In our lives, being a keen and attentive listener can help us solve many problems. I'm here to talk on the IELTS listening component. In each listening section, a person speaks with hesitations, corrections, repetitions, etc. Undivided attention will help us to listen to the recording with ease. Let's look at some must-have listening skills to have a high band score. They are predicting, paraphrasing, targeted listening, spelling, grammar, listening distractors. We'll look at each of these skills in detail. There are free practice listening test materials available on the British Council website. I'll leave the link in the description box. The first skill is predicting. What is predicting? It is when a person uses the given clues to anticipate what is going to happen next in the recording. As we progress through the recording, we should think ahead and refine, revise, and verify our predictions. Practicing the predicting skill helps us focus on the type of information we'll need to listen for when the recording begins. You're given 30 seconds to read the question before the recording starts. So use this time to analyze the questions and predict answers. Another essential skill is paraphrasing. I'm sure we're familiar with what this means. The listening passage includes anchor words like names, dates, and technical vocabulary. These are easy to find. However, for non-anchor words, try to come up with paraphrases that the speaker might use. English speakers paraphrase more often than speakers of many other languages. But there is not much time of thinking of potential paraphrases while reading the question in the IELTS listening test. For that reason, paraphrasing is a skill you should be practicing continuously as an English learner. The next skill is targeted listening. What is this? Targeted listening is focusing all your attention on a set of information required to answer the set of questions in each section of IELTS listening. It becomes easier when you get better at analyzing this type of question, so keep listening. The opposite of targeted listening is open listening, which is listening for any information that helps you understand what's going on. Open listening may be important when having a conversation with a friend, but for IELTS exam, use targeted listening for success. Moving on to spelling. Spelling is a huge concern for IELTS students. In the listening component of the IELTS, most of the question require us to write the answer and just not tick a box. If the spelling is not correct, then the answer will be marked wrong as well. So it's important to spell right. 25% of the mark is given for proper vocabulary, which includes spelling accuracy. Too many spelling mistakes can also seriously bring down your score in IELTS listening. Grammar is another important skill. It's not about spelling correctly, but also to check if it fits grammatically. A common mistake is students may not hear the plural S at the end of a word. But a quick analysis of the question should confirm that the noun must be plural. If you write the right word, but you forget to add an S, it will be marked wrong. One of the ways to fix this issue is by practice listening to conversations so you'll be familiar to pronunciation and various accents. The last skill is listening distractors. Sometimes there could be two right answers that sound right. Important tip in distracting questions or answers is not to just listen to keywords. Read, understand, and concentrate on the whole question. If not, it is easy to go wrong. Let's listen to a passage. I leave the passage on my screen while I read so you can follow along. These trees, well over 1,000 of them by now, are by no means native to these parts. Wuhan was occupied by the Japanese during the war, and the university complex was used by the Japanese army as a center for convalescent soldiers. To make the wounded feel more at home, the army planted several orchards of cherry trees to remind the soldiers of Japan. In more recent times, the Japanese government gifted more cherry trees to China as a sign of friendship between the two nations, and many of these trees were subsequently planted here in Wuhan. The question is, the Japanese army planted cherry trees, A, as a sign of goodwill between China and Japan, B, to make Wuhan a special site, C, to help their soldiers get better. Feel free to pause and find the answer. Okay, let's try to analyze the answer. Answer A seems to be right, but it isn't. It is a distractor. Why? The question talks about the Japanese army. However, in the passage it says the Japanese government gave the trees to China as a sign of friendship. The words army and government are different, and giving and planting as well. To get listening distractions right, the first step is to know the distractor problem. And don't focus on keywords. You might hear things that are close, but not close enough. Simply focus on the whole question and all the words, and until the end, you will not know the keywords. C is the answer for this example. To wrap up, our listening scores can be improved by practicing these tips in our daily lives. Until next time, bye.